Hello, welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with your friends and get your gaming goodness every Monday at 6 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm Ashley Hobley. Joining me on the couch today is Ciaran Marchant.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the world of the video game community that is self-mutilating itself over random numbers. Because if you didn't know, Ash, Crimson Desert only was given a 7, right?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Yeah. And then Mixtape was given a 10.
Yes.
And so the Crimson Desert fans having a very hard time accepting that there is a world where Mixtape, which they don't think is a game, is seen as a better game than Crimson Desert. But then what I haven't seen is I haven't seen the outrage over Forza Horizon 6 being given 10s over Crimson Desert this week. I haven't seen those. Haven't seen those problems yet. Haven't seen those outrages popped up yet. And
yeah, that's crazy.
And likely to happen in the following week, which is going to be even funnier, is when a Lego Batman game gets a better score than Crimson Desert. That's going to be even better. Like, arbitrary numbers, people really care about them, especially when IGN gives them out.
I mentioned this maybe last week or the week before.
Yeah.
About IGN. Any score they give is...
It's just a bad time.
It's a bad time. Just don't go in the comment section of any IGN social post. And today we'll be talking about a few video games that mostly Ciaran has played.
I've played.
But I will kick things off by talking about, I went to see Mortal Kombat II, obviously.
Whoa, Mortal Kombat!
Yeah, a movie based on the video game franchise. Obviously heavily promoted with Carl Urban as Johnny Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Despite that, I would say he's the co-protagonist with, I forget the actress's name, and Adeline something, but the chick who plays Katana is the other main character, I would protagonist.
Which is surprising because you would think that one thing, they spent a whole first movie, as I remember, building up a brand new protagonist. They spent
Cole Young. Everybody's favorite character, Cole Young.
Yeah, they made Cole Young, and then down the grapevines, I've heard he is speedily moved off the scene in like 30 seconds.
Listen, this is a movie called Mortal Kombat. I mean, there needs to be some people proving that they're mortal.
Damn.
And I guess it isn't a surprise that Cole Young did not live to the end of the movie. I don't think, based on the amount of news going around him, it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. But yeah, I think it's a movie that starts off a bit slow, as it's doing a lot of exposition setup, especially because, unlike a lot of sequels, you're introducing two new main characters to take over, and you have to integrate them into the storyline that's being told before, and you have to also set them up. So you've got Katana setting up all her family stuff with, she's the daughter of the previous lord of, I can't even remember the name. It's really not that important.
The Shadow
Whatever
Realm?
realm she's from.
The Nether Realm? No.
Other realm, I think, is what Shao Kahn is from. He defeated the realm that Katana's family is originally from and forced her to become his daughter, much in the way Gamora is the daughter of Thanos.
Outworld.
Like that. Outworld, yeah. And then you got Johnny Cage, who is a washed-up action star who was bigger in the 90s, who we first see working at a con trying to sell old copies of his movie, being completely annoyed. And he is told that he's been chosen by the gods to compete in Mortal Kombat. So yeah, I mean, we actually get the tournament this time, so that's a good start.
That's a great start. Mortal Kombat having a tournament.
There's a solid fights. Yeah, once it gets going, I think it's pretty good. There's some really good fights. I think probably the standout that you've probably heard elsewhere is the Kung Lao. No, I keep forgetting everybody's name.
Kung Lao's the one with the hat?
Kung Lao's the one with the hat, and then Liu Kang. They have a fight.
Nice.
And that's probably the best fight in the movie. But yeah, I mean, Carl Urban, when he gets going, is pretty good as Johnny Cage. And is capturing that vibe of the Johnny Cage character. Josh Hawthorne returns as Kano, who was a big highlight of the first movie, and again is very much scene stealery, comic relief, Aussie goodness in this film, and well worth the price of admission. If you're going in expecting more of a Sub-Zero and Scorpion, you'll be disappointed because there's not a lot of them in this movie. Shout out to Hiroyuki Sanada for getting that paycheck for very little work. yeah, I had a good time. They clearly set up for another movie. We'll see if they ever get around to that. The Baraka stuff is really impressive. Like, I've heard that, like, facially, it's all practical,
Yeah,
which
that's
seems
cool.
crazy to me
That's really
for a
cool.
guy with so many teeth. But all that stuff looks really good. So it's not going to set the world on fire. It's it's definitely like a 6, like a 7 or 8 star like rating movie. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go check something out in the cinema, I would highly recommend. Or if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, I feel like that's who was probably going to hit more for, like just seeing those characters on the screen and that kind of stuff, and just seeing the location, the recreation of a lot of locations and stages. That's really cool. So yeah, go check out Mortal Kombat 2. All right, let's move on to some actual video games. Let's talk about Mixtape. Both of us have not quite finished Mixtape yet. I'm like an hour
Which is
plus
crazy
in.
because it's like a
It's
3 to
very
4.
short.
It's very short. It's very short. I
You
think
made a
it's
mistake playing it, right?
Yeah, I made a mistake. I was away last weekend because it was Mother's Day, so I was
Mm.
with my family, and I got maybe like an hour and a half into it. But I was like playing on my Steam Deck with like one headphone in, like kind of pausing, stopping, and starting to talk to people and like take part in being a family, apparently. And then immediately I kind of stopped myself. I was like, wait a minute, I don't feel like I'm properly getting the full experience out of this by doing it this way. Let me put it down. I'll get back to it, and I will need to play through the experience again. Haven't gone back to it, but it's pretty insane. Like I love these styles of games. I love anything that is story focused, narrative focused, that has its own personality, its feeling. You know, whereas so many people probably disagree with it, especially in the larger community discussion. Like, I hate when games get too much in the way of themselves with the fact that they need to be a game. You know, my reference point is always there is a moment in the original Last of Us where they randomly throw in a bunch of fights and you're like, this doesn't need to be here. This didn't need to happen for this to progress the story or to progress what's going on right now. It's just put there so people have something to do. And so my enjoyment is entirely normal with what's going on with it, with the moments, with the skating, with the the various flashbacks and random mini games, the things the game gets you doing. I love it. I love the aesthetic. I love the characters. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and I think especially playing the Artful Escape, like you kind of knew what you were getting into going into it, and maybe that was like the biggest. Don't want to say hurdle, but thing for a lot of people is, I guess, this is the big breakout game. For is Einstein and Dinosaur and Einstein?
It's Beethoven and
Beethoven,
Dinosaur.
fuck me, Beethoven. I was like, I can picture the image. I just could not remember who it was. But Beethoven and
Einstein,
Dinosaur,
Beethoven, they look similar.
yeah, with Beethoven and Dinosaur, like I guess many people probably didn't know what they expected. Where, yeah, immediately it was just it hit.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard of Mixtape for whatever reason, and this is the first time hearing about it, obviously it's a narrative adventure game in which you follow a group of friends on their last night before they all, well, one of them leaves for New York City after high school. It's very much a coming of age kind of, last night together kind of movie. And is told to a specific soundtrack that has been cultivated for the game, fully licensed music, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of those things factor into some of the discussion around the game. I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's I mean, tackled straight off the top. Like, the discussion around it not being a game seems bizarre to me, especially right at the start. I've seen people say you don't interact very much. You seem to be moving around a lot and like selecting stuff. Like, have they never played an adventure game before? Just
Obviously
because you're not
not.
shooting stuff in the face or jumping, all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I think we have gotten to the stage where game is just a very broad thing. Like, would these same people be upset about going home or something like that?
But it's like the same thing is like it's where we're probably really immature as a medium. Is that nobody complains about this? Like, nobody compares one book to another book and go, why is this book 800 pages? Why is this one only 400 pages? You know, nobody seems like, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like we're in that infancy of this medium where people are expecting so much out of it, or there for some reason is this like this equation that is like dollars to time played in the game. Like, hey, it's a fucking $20 game. Like, it's not like it's like a full price game. It's a $20 game. It's like so many things. Like, and I speak from experience. There are so many games I don't get to finish, and I still pay full price for. So it's nice that it, shorter experiences, even though I haven't finished this one either. But like, yeah shorter experiences. But I don't. It's crazy.
No, and it just seems, we just need to be broad. I think the broader the description of video games, the better, and like be more inclusive and that kind of thing. And I think obviously they're going in with this, like there is a certain segment that's like, oh, this is like, they really wanted to make a movie, but because they couldn't get the funding, or because they're in video games, they made a video game instead. It's like, okay, whatever. Does it really matter? The end result is what really counts and that kind of stuff. So, I will say my only little, gripe is some of the loading. I think, especially because it is like there's a lot of flashbacks and that kind of stuff. I think if it had been a little bit more seamless between those things, I think it might flow a little bit better. Because it is very vignette-y, I think.
Yes.
You get like a small segment and then you jump back or forward depending on the scene and that kind of stuff. I'm enjoying the characters so far. Like, they're very obviously it's set at a very specific time in the 90s. When they're still using Discmans, that kind of stuff. I think was one of the most fun things was like got rummaging through a drawer and there's like VHS tapes and floppy disks and all these kind of old stuff that I'm like, man, kids these days, they wouldn't know what half this shit is. And then there's one moment when you have to like turn a pencil so you can rewind the cassette tape. These kids, they don't know all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's like very much a classic adventure game where you can you can rush through and probably like skip a bunch of like the little tidbits and things around the room or conversations with the two other kids. I think the dynamic that they set up like at the start is really interesting. Of like obviously this close group of friends, but the main character Stacy, she's going to New York the next night, despite them having previously planned this massive road trip across the state to chase her dreams of becoming a music supervisor. I think that will make it very interesting dynamic over the course of the story of their last night together. There's just like obviously it's got influence like John Hughes and all those kind of coming of age 80s movies and that kind of stuff. But it's got a really fun vibe to it. I don't mind that there's not like crazy, I think I've seen people that are upset that there's no fail states. Like I tested at the start of that, but I was like, when you're doing the first skating down the hill, I'm like,
can you hit a car?
What happens if I hit a car?
Yeah.
And it just reverses a little bit.
That bothers. Kind of stuff, why does a game need fail states?
I mean, technically it does have a fail state. You failed and then you go back.
Yeah, like a little bit. It just doesn't. In theory, like there's no fail states because the game keeps on. Like, I don't know, needing fail states is a bizarre thing to want in a single player game, because even the greatest, your Uncharted, your Last of Us, your God of Wars, if you die, you have to, like, the game doesn't keep going. Like, you have to redo the thing you died doing. Like, there is a set story that you have to play through no matter what. Like, like you have and it's like, you're like, oh, there's very little player agency. It's like, well, yeah, there's no player agency in all these massive games. The story is set. Like, you're playing through the story as it's been set out by the developer for these big single player games. So why aren't you complaining about it with those? Or in, other games where we've seen choice or the idea of choice added in, but it really means nothing in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
Racing car games. You just going down the same track.
Just exactly. If you're not first,
Mario, you're just going down the same stage. Like, sure, you can change how you get there, but you're going the same destination,
same place. Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's a fun vibe. I think it'll be interesting. Like, I've also seen. Well, I read somewhere there's very little replayability. I'm like, I don't know. If it's a really good story, then I feel like I'd be more likely to revisit it, like maybe in a couple of years when it's only a 3-hour experience than diving into a game that I love that's like 12, 15 hours long.
Yep. 100%. And I don't think it's also, why does it need to be replayable? Like, it's the same thing.
I think that's just a value for money kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, but you can replay. Fuck, I can reread a book, but nothing changes in the book. It's still the exact same words every time. I can rewatch Fast and Furious 6 like 5 times, and it's gonna be the same movie. Nothing changes. You know, Vin Diesel
Well,
automatically, yeah.
what you take away from it could change after repeat viewings. You know, so.
Sure.
All right. The other interesting criticism I've seen is that this game is not indie enough. It doesn't deserve to be called an indie game. One, because Annapurna has backed it and has done like this massive advertising campaign. Apparently, they've been sending merch to critics and that kind of stuff. And then the licensed music in the game means it's more expensive.
Yeah, because they've actually licensed the stuff in perpetuity. Even though pretty much all of the music in it is like fairly deep cuts. Like, it's not like,
it's not Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it's not like a Michael
Jackson.
Yeah. It's not Michael Jackson. It's not like massive Radiohead songs. It's not anything huge. They're deep cuts. So of course they can get a perpetuity. And why are people turning on Annapurna? Annapurna's amazing. Like Annapurna has funded and published so many indie like games just because they've jumped in and helped. Are we going to get pissed off with Devolver and everything Devolver helps publish?
No, I don't think so. But maybe it's a little bit of Annapurna. Megan Ellison, who founded it, is obviously connected to Larry Ellison, who's currently owns Skydance Paramount, trying to buy H2O, and is obviously very right wing leaning and that kind of stuff. I also feel like maybe it's just more the money involved in like the marketing. It's like they've heavily marketed and that kind of stuff. Although I don't feel like I've seen it that heavily like heavy marketing is like so hard to describe nowadays. It's like,
that's the thing. I've seen they've sent out packages to some influencers to make reels about or TikTok. I'm like, but isn't
it's like a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, isn't that just a normal thing to do nowadays? Is just send out, and especially with something as cool and aesthetic as Mixtape is, like you can make a really cool influencer pack, like a promotional pack about it without too much effort. Like,
yeah. Also, wasn't there was controversy around Annapurna as well with them splitting off with a bunch of their previous team from memory.
Okay.
Remember?
There's no way that, even if that is the case, there's no way that
wouldn't have affected
wouldn't have affected people's opinion on it or wanting to be.
No, they wouldn't have noticed at all. Just looking for excuses to, I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, obviously, it's developed by an independent team. Small team, I believe.
Small Australian team.
And I don't know. I feel like there's a desire to keep like the protection around the term indie. Maybe it's a carry-on effect from Claire Obscura last year of being more of a AAA-esque game, even though I guess it's been described as an independent game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just kind of curating the indie label, I guess, is like what people are more concerned with. But yeah, it just seems like a weird argument. And save it till the end of the year when it actually matters. When the Game Awards is that kind of stuff, it's like, is it indie enough? Who knows? But yeah. Hopefully we'll finish next step. I think Dylan's finished it, so maybe we'll do a full spoiler discussion next week or something like that. So, all right. Ciaran, you've played some other games. Talk to me about Subnautica 2, which has had a big release.
Massive release, huge. 2 million copies.
Funnily enough, after a bunch of controversy around that game.
Yes, 100%.
The studio, craft on forcibly delaying the game, the developers' founders being ousted, then there being a bunch of lawsuits and stuff. Didn't seem to affect initial.
Well, I think
sales.
It's because that has gone back, and I think the original founders now have control again.
Okay.
Of the game again. I think it has happened. But no, Subnautica 2 has just released in early access with 2 million copies going out the door in the first day. That was the last marker. It might have been more than that, but that was the last marker I saw for it. Yeah, it is everything about Subnautica 1 plus the added involvement of co-op multiplayer for the game. A whole brand new world that you are set to explore by swimming through with a whole range of new fish and species of creatures under the sea. Yeah, it is iteration from everything that was great about Subnautica 1 placed in it. At the moment, it's said to be about 12 hours worth of content, depending on your skill level for Subnautica. But yeah, 12 hours worth of content in the game at the moment for early access. Still plenty more ahead. It's probably going to be, I would almost guesstimate a couple of years before this game is in like a 1.0 state. But jumping in with a friend, like it has been, I never got to play Subnautica 1 mostly because I didn't want to play it by myself. Something about being alone, swimming around the ocean was a bit like, fuck that. Having somebody else there to hear me scream is more comforting. So no, jumping in.
Nobody wants to drown alone.
Exactly, 100%. Even if you get reprinted afterwards. But yeah, it is a great exploration. It is stupidly gorgeous to look at. Runs really well on PC at the moment. The devs are actively making changes and answering to player feedback very actively, which is always great to see in early access games. Yeah, it's been a fantastic experience so far. I'm looking forward to playing some more of it. I'm finally getting to the section where you get your first little vehicle and stuff to help you swim around with. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun to keep playing. There is a decent story. It is probably. I will be interested to see how the UI and the onboarding experience is handled going forward, because I think at the moment it can be a little bit sporadic in terms of understanding what you should be doing next. Sometimes you get a waypoint, but then kind of the survival progression in the game of, okay, what do I really need to be doing now? What do I need to be gathering? Yeah, and it's also funny where going from, say, Windrose I've just recently played, or the RuneScape survival game we recently played, you have to change your mindset a little bit with how you play the game in terms of, at the moment, mining for resources is quite hard because unlike most survival games where resources stack into piles, this is just it doesn't stack. So shit fills up your pockets very quickly. So you almost have to be very specific with your focus on what you're mining, what you're gathering, what you're grabbing and bringing back to the base. Base building is a whole lot of fun. There seems to be a lot to do with the item, with the base progression, with the design and the overall layouts of the bases. We've kind of just opened up the next kind of section of that, and it's been a lot of fun to see how it progresses, to see how it changes over time, with each step up in technology. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It is I think it was like $40 at the moment on Steam, or $60, and you get both Subnautica 1 and Below Zero, which was like the DLC or the expansion for the original game. Yeah, it's been great so far.
So it's just a underwater survival game, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It is underwater survival game with a story. The story basically being the people colonizing the world have crash landed on it. You don't know what's happened to anybody else, and you're trying to work out what's going on at the same time. There's this like giant tree or island in like the center of the water that you can't get to yet. That is kind of where all the mystery lies around.
Interesting. All right. You've also been playing Waxheads. Speaking of narrative adventure games,
100%, right? Made by the developer Patiti Games. Waxheads is a lovely 2D narrative story-driven game about being the newest employee of a record store, and pretty much the down level of like the basic level of gameplay for this is talking to each person as they come in. Generally, the customer doesn't actually know what they want. They'll kind of give you a rough hint, or they'll describe what they're wanting, and then it's your job to kind of go through the store, looking through the different records that they have on offer, kind of reading the details about them. Sometimes they'll know a track list. Sometimes they'll know something, or they'll be like, oh, this one thrashes really hard. So you're kind of looking for that detail in the record. You're finding the record in the store, bringing it to them and selling it to them. And all at the same time as this going on, there is this great overarching story of the owner of the store and her life before owning the store, and the classic kind of classic traditional well done story about the store being attempted to be bought by somebody else and closed down. As you play through the different sides, there is side A through to side E, which generally contains about a couple days worth of customers in each one. The store progressively gets bigger, so they open up different sections of the store. They get in new music. There's new artists will release new albums, and there'll actually be albums that by the same artist that they'll release a new one or an alternative one, or they'll have like band members will split up and they'll make different music. It's your job kind of keeping up with everything to understand what's going on. So when customers are coming in and asking for that, you can grab the right disc and pass it over, the right CD. And I think what's fantastic is like the team have every record has like a full list of songs. There is in the jukebox, there is fully recorded versions of songs of most of these albums. Every band has a backstory. Every band has like, there's one band that's like wrapped up in this conspiracy of if they murdered their original singer. Like there's all this stuff that the team has worked on to build a really well fleshed out kind of game. And like gaming mechanics is literally a lot of reading and then pressing and handing over the right disc to the right person. So fuck, if you were upset with Mixtape, then Wax Heads would be also considered not a game, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. I'm loving my time with it. I'm loving the music from it. I'm loving getting to know the wide range of characters, not just those coming into the store and talking to you, but also your fellow employees. There's even like moments where you're helping out at a bar and you're selecting the right drink for somebody at a bar, and it kind of shakes up the gameplay loop a little bit. It's fantastic.
Very cool. I'm keen to play that after the end of the upcoming slate of games that are about to be released. And then you've been playing something called Cozy Game Restoration.
Yes, this is literally a playtest that came out this weekend. It's literally one of those great games, much like your Power Washer Simulator, where you are cleaning retro game discs, retro game cartridges. So you would get to choose from packages that will cost different amounts of money. You kind of pick your package, and then you just get to cleaning this. You use like your cotton bud, a toothbrush, isopropyl alcohol, and you just get to work scrubbing these cartridges clean. And it's great. I was today doing it. Like it's just a playtest at the moment. So I was just chucking on Critical Role and listening to Critical Role while I scrub these cartridges clean. You get to store them in like the little shelves that like once you clean them, you get to like show your own display. The different boxes, when you choose your box, they have like different rarities on it. There's a whole heap of games you can get. It shows a lot of promise. It was just a playtest this weekend. It was free to go on Steam. But yeah, it was a lot of random fun just to kind of chill out and just scrub some game cartridges clean. Even to the point where you have to get like tweezers and like pull off the stickers when like somebody who sold the games had stickers on it. You have to pull them all off and scrub all the yucky crap off it. It's great. It's good fun.
Kind of disappointing. It's not like real. Obviously, it's all fake.
Yes, yeah, it's all fake titles. Yeah, definitely. I don't think they could get away with.
I mean, that's a cool idea.
Stuff.
Yeah. How do you come up with that? Genius. All right. I think that's everything we've been playing this week. Can
I say, right? It sucks that I haven't been able to talk. Like, we haven't been able to talk about Forza Horizon 6 this weekend, because even though it's like official release date is the 19th, which is a fucking Tuesday, the game's already been out because of its early access period, which was like $190 to get early access into the game. Where that game should have been the release when all the reviews came out, all the content around it came out. Everybody's talking about the game, and then it's like, I have to wait till a random Tuesday to be able to play this game. What the fuck? What the hell?
Yep. I don't know what to say to that. I'm not against early access. Like, if you want to pay through the nose to get to play it a couple extra days early.
Through the nose. Insanely through the nose.
Have at it, Do you know what was interesting? I saw a report recently that said that like a very like less than half of hardcore gamers pay full price for video games. Which seems bizarre to me.
No, I think that's fair. And it's always the backwards thing of, I feel like so many people who are like the ones that talk about video games, who are the ones that are excited about video games, who are like in with the know, that listen to podcasts and everything, they're the same people that say, hey, this looks great, I'll wait for it to come on sale.
Also say, like, a lot of games, like, day one usually are out actually on sale. Like,
yes,
whether it's
correct. Especially on Steam. Steam
in
always,
retail or Steam, like the first week.
Steam always has a
games,
sale. Yeah.
Just because, you got to get that good word of mouth out as quick as possible. Yeah, I think that's about it this week. Do you think, I don't know if you've seen all the rumors, do you reckon they're going to have the pre-orders available for GTA 6 this week?
Maybe, but pre-orders even matter anymore. Sure. I don't know.
I mean, it's really, I feel like GTA 6 is obviously going to be the most talked about game of the year, but just the story around the costs of the game and the financials of it, I think are very interesting as well.
But the thing is, that game's going to make money hand over fist no matter when it comes out. Like,
but is it going to be enough?
It has to. Like, there's no way it isn't enough. Can I say though, also, just games feel good at the minute. Like, it feels good playing Subnautica. It felt good playing Max Heads. I'm looking forward to playing Forza, even though I'm having to wait till Tuesday. I'm now looking forward to Lego Batman. That game looks amazing. That game looks really fucking good from everything I've seen of it. That's like, oh, okay, I should pick that up and play that now.
Like, it comes out this coming week as well. Yep. Friday. Yeah. This month is starting to deliver. We're starting to really get into a good patch of video games at the moment. All right, let us know what you have been playing or what you thought of what we talked about today by going to explosionnetwork.com/follow and let us know on social media. If you want to help us out here at Arcade Couch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. You can leave 5 stars. Just tell people about the show. And if you want to help us out at Explosion Network with all our other podcasts and all our written content, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/supports. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, play games. And join us next time for another Join us next time for another. No, that's not how I should end this show. See you next week on Arcade Couch, on the couch.
So many flubs. So many flubs.